What's up, guys? I'm here in beautiful Siquijor with my friend Bob. We're going to hang out and chat with you with our cute little pom-poms, microphones, to talk about life in the Philippines. We're going to talk about three main things. And how old are you, Bob?
I'm 77.
Going on 47? I'm feeling pretty good some days.
I feel 47.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, we were talking about that, and this is going to come up in the video on how the Philippines makes you feel young for different reasons, which is mostly good, but there are some things you have to take into account when you have that mentality when you come here. So we're going to talk about dating in the Philippines for a guy in his 70s. We're going to talk about finding a home base, finding a place to live and retire, a sense of permanency, which a lot of guys like yourselves watching, that you're in your 60s or 70s, you're retired and you want to find a place. And the other thing we're going to talk about is lifestyle in the Philippines, including travel for a guy like you in your 70s, and the reality, and sometimes harsh reality, of what it's really like here, the pros, the cons, and everything. We've been talking a lot the last couple of days about it, and thought it'd be a good opportunity to share his story and his insight to you guys to help you make decisions and know what you're getting into. That's the main thing before you make a big decision and come over here. So overall, way more pros than cons about coming to the Philippines.
Yeah, I really love it here. I wouldn't go back for any reason I can think of. There's something I'd go back for, but I don't know what it is.
And how long have you been here?
I've been total in the Philippines 21 months, 20 months in Siquijor.
You've been in Siquijor, in this little beautiful tropical island,
Right.
for most of your time in the Philippines.
It captured me. I didn't like anything about the experience. I was walking from the Quest Hotel to the Ayala Mall, trying to figure out where do I go from here, what do I do. It wasn't satisfying, and I had to kick myself out of it and go on the road and have an adventure.
One of the things for a guy in his 70s, if you want to come to the Philippines and travel around, like you are certainly open to and wanted to have some adventure, what should a guy really think about as far as some of the barriers and the reality of traveling around and the ferries and getting into the province and traveling? What stands out to you that a guy in his 70s should really consider what he's getting into?
Well,
leaving a city in just the safety of a bubble.
Yeah, because you don't know what the port is going to look like, right? I mean, you can imagine all kinds of ports.
The chaos and the trying to figure out
language.
Yeah.
For all the discussion about how the Philippines is English, really, when we're not in the room, they're talking a local dialect. And when you come down there, unless there's a reason to do business with you, they're going to continue to talk the local language.
Did you get a sense of like some people kind of hustling and trying to approach you, and you don't know who to listen to?
They knew who was new in town.
Yeah, gotcha.
And just a natural no, keep walking, or I would have been on somebody else's adventure. And then you learn that they favor senior citizens, and you can walk to the front of the line and buy your ticket.
Good point.
If you're standing in the line with everybody trying to get on the next ferry, you're 200 people deep, and it feels like 10 minutes a person.
Yeah.
It's arduous. Going on and off the ferries, they're this wide, and I'm not a big man, but they're this wide, and the handrails are this low, and if the seas are rough, the first couple of times you're like, what the hell is going on here? You're up and you're down, you're up and you're down, and it's chaotic.
There's a couple of guys trying to hold it as you try to make your way across.
They are.
Walk the plank to get up to the ferry.
And then they'll try and help you by pulling you, and I'm like, don't do that. You want to hold a hand out to steady, I'll take it. But don't help me.
And let's not underestimate or underplay this. When the seas are rough at all, which is not, which is sometimes common here, not only is it getting across that little walkway, but now you're in the ferry and you have to make your way to the seat. There's not much to hold on to. Like, I wouldn't say the Philippines is known for its sort of what they call universal design, designing things to accommodate everyone, less people with less ability. It's not with safety in mind. So tripping hazards is a huge thing here, and that can spoil the party pretty quick.
Yeah, OSHA has not been here.
What's that?
OSHA has not been here.
It's not regulated in that way. So there's a lot of just kind of hope for the best moments when you're out traveling around and you're outside of the comfort zone of a bubble. Do you want to share what happened recently?
I'm walking down a very steep hill that's continually under construction, and there was some asphalt or cement with some gravel on top of it, and my feet went up in the air, and I caught my full self
Yeah.
on one finger and dislocated it like completely off.
I'm going to put the X-ray right now. You give it to me, and I'll
Sure,
put it on
of
here.
course.
Guys, look at that.
And so you're out on a jungle road essentially with your finger going this way, and it's like, where do I begin?
Yeah. No, there's panic.
Yeah, there's panic. There's obviously there can be some shock. You have to be somewhat aware of your own
Yeah.
shock tendencies, and what do you do, and who do you go to, and how do I drive my car to the hospital, and yeah, it's all of it.
Right. So this is a huge point to make, guys. When you leave the comfort of BGC, Cebu City IT Park, any of these places where you have comfort, people around, walkability, hospitals, clinics everywhere, and you come into the province,
No.
like this example is very common.
Yeah.
When you're walking around in the province and you're in Siquijor, it's not just perfect paved pathways.
No.
It's loose gravel, bumpy at times.
There's holes for no reason at all
Yeah.
where a sewer should have been that you could step in the dark.
Yeah.
There's road construction that people ride their motorbikes through or their cars.
Yeah.
It's an obstacle course at all times waiting to get you. And it's daunting, and it generally gets all but the young
Yeah.
deciding to stay home
Yeah.
or stay where they are in a comfortable place with.
It's something to consider, guys. And I know the city is not for everyone, and I know there's a lot of guys like you in your 70s that's still very active and healthy, very active and healthy, but the risks are there, and thankfully nothing came of that was bad, but when you step away from the hospitals in the city, like if you have an injury in Siquijor,
Yeah.
your closest like real hospital is a ferry ride away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's horror stories, guys, when it comes to that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And that's the same for a lot of province towns and cities. And even if you're in province, town, and city that has a hospital, the quality goes down pretty quick from a city to
Yes.
the healthcare in the province, right?
Yeah.
So in any small city.
Yeah, anytime you travel, you should be somewhat aware that the further you get from the city, your health care options falling dramatically. I think it's been said forever that they can help you a lot if you can get to the hospital in an hour. You'll be lucky in a lot of cases if you can make it in a half a day or a day. So
Yeah.
you want to pick your injuries.
Absolutely. So this isn't a video to say don't do this.
No.
You're kind of going through a period now where you're on the fence, and we've had some talks about you're loving this adventure, you're loving
Yep.
the tropics, and I think
Yep.
it's a great experience for you guys if you're up for it. But you're also being realistic, and you're going through this process of, is this the right decision? Should I be in BGC
Right.
and over the next
Right.
retirement, Philippines retirement?
Well, there will be a day when the answer is yes.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
And you need to do a constant self-assessment and ask your mate, how am I doing? Do you see any diminishment?
Sure.
Because that's your most trusted person, that's your fallback position, and you hope that they have good judgment and can help you make decisions about where we're going. And you're also taking care of them. Don't think
Yeah.
you're not. So
Absolutely. That's a really good point to make, guys. The importance of having a good partner.
yes.
And especially as you're aging, and I think a lot of guys recognize that as part of their retirement goal is to find someone that can be a great loving partner, but also potentially not caregiver, although some will say, sure,
Yeah.
why not, right? And in the
Right.
Philippines, it's a natural thing for a lot of Filipinos to be caring and
Yeah.
take care of you, but to keep an eye on you. And
Yeah.
so that we're going to get into dating and what your experiences are,
Sure.
and for you guys to really think twice of the kind of women you're with, someone that you feel will be there for you when you really need them.
Boy, that's a truth.
Right? And not
Yeah.
every Filipina is going to be like that. One more point about traveling and lifestyle and all this stuff that a lot of guys come here for is, we joked at the beginning, you're 77 going on 47.
Right.
That is a real thing for a lot of guys that come here. And
Right.
when you're dating someone younger and you're coming to this place with all these new opportunities and adventures, it does something for us guys, all of us guys. We
Right.
all feel younger here. We all feel better. We all
Yes.
feel, I used to ride a motorbike. I want to get back into riding a motorbike again. Or I
Right.
used to do these things. I'm going to go back in time and do all that. And that's great and all, but we can get carried away pretty quick here too and lose sense of what we should and shouldn't do.
Right.
And riding a scooter is one thing that we talked about on whether or not it's wise at a certain point.
Right.
And you see a lot of older guys that are going way past the time where they should be doing certain things, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Have you've heard some horror stories, and you made the call to not ride the bike, right?
Well, I rented a bike, then I bought a bike. I bought the same bike as you. It was high end, high quality. I was always nervous at night for the reasons we discussed about dogs in the road and obstacles in the road and people without headlights on, drunks. Did I say drunks? Drunks. It's terrifying out there. And when I went to convert after 90 days, you must convert to a Philippine driver's license. I took my California license to the LTO. They kind of knew me for other reasons. I was helping my girlfriend at the time get a license. They knew me, they watched us. And the guy took me aside, said, "You can afford it, please get a car." And I said, "Really? I can drive it good." He says, "Yeah, it's just a matter of time, please get a car." And that was wonderful advice, and you weren't going to get it from anybody else. So it was good that in fact and it wasn't that I was unstable or I passed every test. I went through their exams in record time. They just don't want to see somebody 77 years old busted up in the road in their provincial hospital. It's not a good place to be. So if you can afford it, get a car. If you can't afford that, get a driver, a trike, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And this isn't to say if you're 70 years old, it's not like we're saying don't do these things, don't ride a motorbike. I have plenty of guys I know that are in their 70s, but there is a point for everyone where you have to really stop and think, is it time for me to hang certain things up? And in the Philippines, man, again, you come with this new mindset, this adventure mindset. You take chances you wouldn't take back home, but you're also in a place where the risks are way higher. And the kind of sketchy stuff that happens here, your reaction time, it needs to be really good, really quick, especially when you're riding a motorbike. And that just changes over the years.
I've got 250,000 miles on large Harley Davidsons. It's not that I don't know how to ride, but the conditions here are so onerous and so unpredictable, you just can't even imagine. So, take that for what it's worth. Be humble. I had a best friend, Filipino friend, died 5 weeks ago in a crash just like we're describing. He'd ridden him since he was a little kid. We lose on Siquijor 365 people who die on motorbike accidents a year. It's a tiny island, and you think about that.
Needed to say this stuff, right? And it's a check-in for all of us, right? In a nutshell, guys, traveling here, come have a good time, get out of the city if you want to. Just know there's a lot of things to navigate, get used to, get comfortable with. If you have people that you can travel with, someone with some experience, a buddy, highly recommend that kind of thing. Or a partner, someone, that's a great aspect of having either a companion, even a friend or a girlfriend that you feel comfortable with, so you can do your first round of traveling with someone.
That's the truth.
All right, moving on to, let's just jump into dating and relationships. We'll talk in general, and then from the perspective of someone at your age and what it's like and how that's impacted your quality of life and what you've learned.
I think it's fair to say, to set a backdrop, I have an opinion about dating in the West that many of you who are thinking about coming here share. It's very unpleasant at best and unproductive, and it's like, is there an alternative? Is it time for me to get more cable channels and stay home, or do I want to have one last adventure? And if you decide to have one last adventure, then things I might have learned. So there are lots and lots of very beautiful women that might be available. And how do you meet them? How do you attract them? What can you offer them? And what do you want from them? And you'll, over time, you'll explore all those things. I was very fortunate. I've been, like I say, here 21 months. I've had 2 wonderful relationships with 2 really world-class women, far more attractive than I could imagine somebody my age being with who were genuine and kind and generous and loving and fun and open to the few things that I have to offer. And so it's all good in that regard, but I think I've been very lucky. I don't think I am that patient or that selective, like your advice says. I just got lucky with really fine women.
Were there any clues or green flags that someone that is starting the process of trying to find one of these quality women that are plentiful here? Are there anything that you picked up on that led you to these two relationships that were? And when you say quality, let's just define that real quick. So.
Yeah.
The typical concern would be non-genuine, only wanting your money, gold diggers,
Right.
long gamers, playing multiple guys, all these things. It's very common here too.
Sure. I'm a little bit of a cynic. I believe that most male-female relationships have at least a little bit of a transactional quality to them. I accept that.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere at any time in history.
Absolutely.
That's the case. And so to fight that or say that you're not going to put up with that is to really say you're either going to have nobody or to be very unhappy all the time and think the worst of the people around you. And
can I challenge you
please.
on that?
Yeah.
So what would be the best way to approach some transactional element? And I'm assuming what you're meaning is providing some sort of monetary support as part of what you offer in a relationship. So what's the right way to approach it in your perspective that ensures or makes you feel confident that it's genuine and it's not buying companionship?
Yeah, I suppose somewhere in there, I don't know if it's the first item, but at least one of the top items would be, what is it costing them to be with you? Mm-hmm. In other words, my longtime companion at the moment is a nurse.
Yeah.
And
leaving a job that
leaving
she's
a job
earning
as a
and
nurse,
providing her family, probably.
And so why would a nurse leave a situation? Well, I suspect if we had her here, she'd say, I wanted that experience. I wanted the places he could take me. I wanted the things he could teach me. I think probably at the age she's at, her doors are also closing from the Philippine community.
How old is she?
She's 29.
Okay.
And so, how many 29-plus-year-old Filipino men would be interested in her, and she interested in them? Some of that has to play in there. I think that's gonna roll some eyes, but it is different here. Yeah.
And a Filipina, late 20s, getting to 30,
right.
It's different here in terms of where they think they should be at that point and the pressure. They're old at 30 here for some. They think they are.
They are.
Here.
Well,
it's too late for family. It's too late for this and that.
They get pushed out of jobs at 30.
Yeah.
They can have a college degree and be doing a great job, and there's a push out factor going on.
They bring in younger. They bring in minimum wage.
It's not unlike America in the 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. Not many of you were around for that, but it was always said about Aunt Kathy. She's afraid she's going to lose her job because the business is moving to Texas. She'll never be able to find a job. She's old. What's that? 35. And so that's still in the culture.
It's fair to say that for her to be with someone like you, an older foreigner, having an improved lifestyle, like she's grinding it out as a nurse, making peanuts for a nurse's sake, to have companionship, to have someone, like you said, to learn from, have new experiences.
Right.
It's kind of what it's all about here. Filipinas love that idea to be with someone that's stable, secure, mature, respectful. Then they have financial security above and beyond what she's getting, but needing like every person. And then how do you feel about compatibility? Because I think once those things are met, and that's fair to say, that's a good incentive for a Filipina to be with an older guy.
Right.
What about compatibility? And what do you think about the feeling of a natural desire to be with each other beyond the needs met? The financial security check, some lifestyle, living in this awesome place. By the way, this is South Mountain Resort. Check it out if you're in Siquijor.
Right.
She loves it. I talked to her. I'm like, how do you like living this resort? She's like, she's very sweet, by the way. Very nice girlfriend that you have.
Yeah.
That's a fair reason why a Filipino would want to be with an older guy. What about compatibility? What about attraction? What about all the haters are going to say she doesn't really care for you?
Am I in a show with a lot of haters? That's terrible. My first show. This will be an eye roller, but when we're together, I don't have a sense of eye rolling. I don't have a sense of people being shocked. We're very comfortable together. She grabs my hand more often than I grab hers. We try to know each other well and what we like and what we don't like, and you know, discuss what your preference is in all fairness. I have seen, and I'm ashamed when I see it. I've seen Western men with some woman walking behind them like it's a dog, not necessarily on a leash, and I feel bad for her. I do. But I'm with someone that I treat her the same as I always use my rule of thumb in dating. I treat women like I wish my daughters were treated when they're dating.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I want the best for them. I want them to always feel that they are there for the right reasons. And so I don't have any sense of non-compatibility. We have people occasionally say to her, they don't say to me, which says something. They say, have you ever had a fight with him? Have you ever had a crossword? And she would, no, I never have. And it's not because I don't have crosswords in me. I can be a very disagreeable person. I had to do that in my profession. But with her, she's open and honest and genuine. I have no need, no desire to ever make her have a bad feeling.
With having a partner here and you being very realistic with your age, with caregiving, the caregiving element of having a partner,
right?
And how much do you think that can come into play with giving guys leeway in terms of where they live and how they live? Have you thought about that as far as having that partner? You mentioned like looking out for you, but what about as you get older and you become more dependent physically? Well, is that something you talk about with your partner?
She's a qualified nurse, and she is very extraordinarily caretaking by nature. I mean, it's almost unimaginable how much she is there. I can't even imagine being old and ill without somebody with her disposition and skill set. I mean, she's nursed me on this. We're totally aligned. She reads chemistry and biology books for fun. Very smart girl. So yeah, I'm very fortunate, God willing, that she be with me for a long time.
You've had these conversations as part of your getting to know each other.
I mean, it's like I was saying in the beginning, and it probably sounded vulgar. It's basically when you meet someone out here, be direct what you want, and what you'll give, and what they need, and what they want, and we do the same thing in the West. We just do it in a different way. There's a particular dance how we do it in the West. We date for a year or two, and then we meet your friends and your friends and your friends. Out here, it's really, you're basically saying, here's where I'm at in life. Here's what I need. Here's what my dreams are like. What are yours? Would you like to come along? And then play win-win.
Well said, man. Opportunities in the province or areas in the Philippines, this is what I've learned and heard, the opportunities to date other Filipinos. They'll say the amount of cheating going on, amount of a guy that has kids with different women, and a guy that's maybe not stable, not motivated to do much, the lifestyle, the struggle, the drama, a lot of challenges for Filipinas, especially maybe at 29, to find a good partner in the province from a Filipino the same age. Or there's a lot of foreigners here that come here that are players, that are here, the sexpats, just here for a month to have some fun, and Filipinas know this. And so meeting a guy like you that's truly genuine, there's a big age gap, but she feels safe. She doesn't have to worry about her lack of good options in the province, her going after a younger, handsome, traveling foreigner that she can't maybe trust. So I think that helps make sense of why these relationships are more genuine and more compatible than a lot of people think.
Right.
When you dive in deep,
Yep.
they really actually make sense. And the culture of a Filipina, they're not as worried like a Western woman about it. They're not caught up in age. Age is not
No.
it's not a taboo thing here. So
No.
from the beginning, it's not even a big deal. They don't think of it the same way. And then the way that they're attracted to a guy, it's not to say they're not attracted to physical looks, but
Right.
it's less so than a foreign woman, than a Western woman. Where here, they do focus more on who you are and how they're treated. Do you agree?
Absolutely, how they're treated.
Yeah.
And I think that we as Westerners, I mean, we're coming in a privileged position. We want to err on the side of being decent and generous and leaving a good reputation for those of us to follow. And I try and do that as much as I can. I'm not virtue signaling, but these are very fine people, and they don't necessarily understand correctly what we're about. And so take it slow, be decent, be generous, be thoughtful of where they're at, and try and put to bed their fears and concerns.
Well said.
Allow me to relate a little story from a long ago that gives me my guideline. When I was a young man, there'd be a waitress working in, she'd be a single mother, and there was a guy who was her boyfriend who was a truck driver, and she would say to him, "Winter is coming, and I need snow tires for my car." And snow tires would happen. It's the same world. We're in the equivalent out here as we were in the 50s. Women didn't make as much money as men did. Truck drivers make a lot of money, waitresses didn't. You took care of that woman until you decided what the next step in your relationship was. Nobody looked down on that woman for having her boyfriend buy her a set of snow tires or whatever, putting a new roof on her house or whatever's needed. That's what men do for women. That's sort of my attitude about it. If I were taking her to some level, if she were shopping, buying, needing to make her peers feel bad, that'd be a red flag. I'd be out of there.
Right. Got it.
So live at my level. Dress like I dress. You know, that's what you get being
With
my
you.
companion. Yeah.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I like this. That's a really good perspective. And we had a conversation before that I think is really important. So you lead in the way that you want to be treated.
Right.
And you take, rather than testing and doing this, you just be you.
Yeah.
You be the kind person you are.
Right.
You be fair. You want
Right.
to take care and make your partner feel good.
Right.
However, you have very low tolerance
Yeah.
for crossing the line and not feeling
Yeah.
it's balanced and reciprocated in some way. And you want it to be, well, maybe I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but can you help explain that?
I think that's there, and I think it's the human condition, and that all men can relate to, is that for women, oftentimes there's not enough, and they're wanting to know how much further. And the fancy word thrown around these days is hypergamy, which is to say, maybe I've outgrown you. Any woman that starts to indicate to me that she thinks she might have better alternatives, I wish her the best.
That's it.
Yeah, no,
So if they challenge you, or they're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to test you, or see if
Yeah.
they can get more from you,
No.
those things, that's a killer.
Yeah, I will never feel the same about you.
Yeah.
There is no hugs or anything where we come back from that. We
Gotcha.
just don't.
A sign of someone that's just not coming from a place of genuine
Right.
respect. Like once they cross the line of disrespect
Right.
and not being genuine, that's
Right.
it.
Yeah, that's the end of it right there.
A lot of guys feel once they have this girl that's 29, that's great.
Right.
And then maybe these things happen where they're not genuine and they show their true cards.
Right.
A lot of guys feel, I gotta keep her because I'm 70 and she's 30 and
Right.
I don't want to take a chance. I'll probably not be able to get another one. Turn the page, pivot
Yeah.
quick, because if those cards are shown,
Yeah.
chances are you're just going to go deeper and deeper into a
Yeah.
toxic relationship and regret that you continued on.
Yeah.
So
And the word thrown around is a scarcity mindset. If
Yeah.
you're in the United States and you've got a relationship and they start to test, you know that there's potentially a dry spell
Yeah.
and an ugly undoing of the relationship
Right.
and all things. It's like, not here. I mean,
Remind yourself that, guys.
Yeah, you do not need to feel a scarcity mindset. You will find someone. If you've been decent, people have noticed. If you've been generous, people will say, I've got a sister, I've got a cousin, there's a nurse in my hospital.
Quickly.
Yeah. If you're a jerk, not so quickly. Right. So
I think that
operate on that.
Absolutely. And I think that also goes to say, when you know that you treated someone well, it's easy to pivot and move on to find someone, because you don't have to be like, well, I bursted and had this temper tantrum and I called her this, or I treated her this way. If you are just a good guy, respectful as you are, and this is something you mentioned to me the other day, it makes it easy to say, no, I've done everything. I've been good to you, I've been fair to you, and now you're challenging me and you're pressuring me for this. It's easy to pivot at that point.
Right.
All right, let's talk about the last thing here, which is the big thing, besides finding a partner, is finding the place to live. This can be a big challenge for guys. And this happens more often than not. People that I meet, they're searching. They're trying to find the home base, me included. Part of it is part of my adventure, and I want to do this for research, for content. But a lot of guys, like you, are trying to find the right fit. And there's a lot of reasons to live in different places.
Right.
Nowhere's perfect here. And they all come with their challenges. So what are some things to think about for guys in their 70s to think about as far as places to live? What have you learned since you've been here? The challenges of being here in Siquijor, and what are you thinking now? What's your next step?
Well, I've been fortunate since I've been in Siquijor. I've had really top of the line accommodations here at South Mountain and the other place I stayed at in high season. There's no guarantee that's going to occur. The island is becoming more popular. There's more demands. There really isn't room here, I don't think, for long-term residents. There's room for affluent owners and employees.
Yeah. If you're looking to live in the province, and Siquijor is the province, but it's a vacation island too, versus the city, which you started in and you wanted to get out because it's just malls, and you're like, I didn't come to the Philippines for the city. This is the challenge, you guys. This is so common. You come to the city, it's like it's okay for a while, you got your condo and amenities, but then you're like, what am I doing here? There's traffic, and I'm bored, and I want nature. So then you try somewhere else, and you go to a Siquijor, Dumaguete, Valencia, or another smaller area, Rojas City. Okay, so now you get some nature, but you get other drawbacks. You get difficulty finding Western standard housing, long-term housing. This is what you've been encountering.
I mean, I'm fortunate we have a generator here and Starlink, but most people on this island have experienced 2, 3 or more, they call it brownouts, blackouts, electric outages that last, I guess in the worst of cases, some people have said they haven't had electricity for days, and that's without a storm. That's just, we can't keep the lights on here. And the island's growing rapidly, and it's becoming ever more popular. The guys that decide to, plant seeds here, they're buying solar, they're buying their own generators, they're almost living off the grid, and that sounds like it's hard duty for me.
It's a small percentage, of guys that have the setup that I think most foreigners want.
Right.
If you can build your own house, you can make it what you want, like you said, solar, but you're staying in a resort, and this is not even available come busy season, which is coming soon.
Right.
Where do you see yourself going from here, and what do you think makes a lot of sense for other guys in their 70s? To each their own. It's not to say there's a one fit, but from your perspective.
I think if you have any health issues at all, even, I know this is a little controversial, even going to Dumaguete is really, I think if you have health issues, but you want to be here and you want to have some pieces of the adventure we're describing, you need to be in a world-class city with the best medical care in those cities, Manila, Cebu. I think eventually, like our discussion, I'll probably, with age as the primary consideration and potentially health issues, I'll probably end up in a bubble like BGC, flat sidewalks, world-class food, world-class medical care, passive entertainment as opposed to walking down roads and sticking my ring finger into the gravel. That's probably where it'll go. One more single-family house, hopefully long-term, hopefully
Okay.
good standard, then a bubble. And my friend, my companion, my love, and I, we talk about it. She says that would be just fine with her, any of the steps on the trail.
Once you get away from resort, turnkey, nice places that we feel comfortable,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we need to live in a resort, but something
Yeah.
comfortable, Western standard, it quickly drops off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The noise, the clutter, the
Yeah.
dog chained up, the karaoke potential.
yeah,
There's a handful of things that can be a barrier to happiness in a house in anywhere outside of the
Yes.
major cities, right?
yeah.
And if you have two of those things on the list, it's often enough
Oh,
for you to pivot and say, I can't do it.
No, I think that's more rule than not, or we'd find people that were long-term.
Yeah.
That's why we find guys, we see other vloggers that talk about building a house for the wife.
Yeah, right.
They're not doing it because they were totally happy where they were.
Absolutely.
They were not.
Yeah. So I think it's very fair. And I have the same, I'm so drawn to nature like you. I think we
Yeah.
both share the same desire for a certain lifestyle here.
Yeah.
We want to feel like we're in the Philippines. And,
Yes.
and the nature here is so good.
And the culture. I mean, you can walk
culture,
out here and
yeah.
have discussions with
Yes.
people, and you'd be
great.
invited to their fiestas,
Yeah.
and you can go to the disco, which is just a dance.
Sure.
And you're having a great time, and they like you, and you like them. That kind of goes away with city living, I do believe.
It's different.
We,
Yeah.
we partition ourselves off.
Yeah.
We don't mix with them. We don't need to. And then we're just in a
Yeah.
pale imitation of where we come from, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, you're doing it for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
The life you want to set for yourself here, I think, is very common for a lot of people that come here. That's it for you guys to consider when you're trying to find that setup. Just the reality check of what
Right.
it's really like. It's you got to be very adaptable.
You
Be
do.
open-minded. You got to let things go.
I was thinking of a point I'd like to make.
Sure.
For just sort of a shorthand. When you come here, you'll be tested physically. You'll be tested financially in ways you haven't thought about before. How do you get your money here? How do you manage your money? How do you keep it safe? How do you access? How do you pay other people? There's a new set of skills that are hard to master in your older age. There's medical challenges that we talked about. You can forego any idea of specialists of the type you've been around before. Yeah, those are things that we take for granted in the West as being all there, always available. They're not here.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned those things. And on that same topic, just needing a level of patience here and the way things are done here that maybe with age can be tougher to deal with. Like,
Culturally and legally.
yeah.
Legally. You want to
Sure.
get in trouble out here?
Yeah, for sure.
Show some anger or maybe look like you're defaming or insulting a local, and your life can change
Yeah.
quickly.
These are important. Guys, you want to come here and have a good life. The whole
Right.
reason to come here is to enjoy your last chapter, right? Retirement.
Yep.
You want to age gracefully with tropical weather and a beautiful girlfriend.
Yeah.
The more you try to add to that and trying to have everything be perfect in the Philippines, it can get frustrated really quickly.
Yeah.
I think you have to keep your expectations in check. Your patience has to be in check.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good people and a good
Yes.
partner.
Yes.
For the right, find someone for the right reasons
Yeah.
to be there for you.
Yeah.
And then life can be very, very good here. And I think it's all a mindset, right?
Yeah.
To be happy here. It is what we make it here for sure.
Sure.
All right, guys, that's been great. Thank you so much for sharing all that.
My pleasure.
So much you've learned in just 20 months since you've been here. So I'm glad you could share that with you guys that are looking into coming to the Philippines. Thanks for watching. Thank you again.
Well, watch that in.
Oh, that's right. That's the broken finger. Tripping hazards, guys. Be careful. Thanks for watching. Take care. It's like such a bonus. I'm recording this.
Yeah.
Such a bonus to be with a Filipina. This sounds funny, but to compare it to a Western woman, it's often not weird for a Filipina to be very intimate with you in a caring way.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Filipinas will not even flinch
not at all.
at just being a caregiver or doing
Right.
things like that.
Right.
Wiping your booty,
Yeah.
as weird as that sounds,
Right.
it's not going to freak out many Filipinas, where you think in the West, that's like a really tough conversation to
Sure.
have, let alone
Sure.
actually do it.
Sure.
So I don't know, it's a silly thing to
Well, I think some of it, as I've thought about it, leaving aside the fact that my love is a nurse, is you have these multi-generational families where they see death from an early age, they see caretaking from an early age, they see love and affection. They're taking care of each other as
Right.
natural as can be, and so
Second nature.
that transfers to you. In the West, you know, we might see our grandmother every 3 years, and
Right.
she's away in a home, and
yeah.
we never saw her again. We might not even have gone to the funeral. We did it on a Zoom call.
You know, I think this is such a important factor for older guys that want to come
Yeah.
here and retire.
Yeah.
Like, what will it look like for you to age in the West, and who's going to care for you? What's
Yeah.
the pathway? I worked in nursing homes for years as an OT, and I just see the life that you can have there, where those families, those few families that took care of their own. In fact, when I did work in New Mexico, and Mexican culture
Yes.
families, how they
Yes.
care for each other, and how
Yes.
much better they do, and how much longer they live at home with
Yeah.
independence when they have
Yeah.
the caregiving element in their culture.
Right.
It's the same thing here, right? So to have
Absolutely.
so to be cared for here, you can.
It's an honor to be able to take care of your
Yeah,
your
yeah.
family here.
Yeah. So that's quality of life. That's adding length to your life.
Yeah.
Being independent, living at home, not
Right.
being in a terrible environment that unfortunately a lot of nursing homes are. I've worked in them. It's amazing it's surprising how poor
Yeah.
the lifestyle is when you get to these
Oh,
nursing homes.
yeah.
There's very few that felt like a really nice, comfortable place. Most of them are like depressing.
You know, this conversation might be harder for people to watch than age gap relationships.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a tough one.
for sure, man. Aging, it's part of life, man.
Yeah.
This is real stuff, and you got to make your choice. What path do you want from 70 on? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
This is something that a lot of you guys are right on a lot of guys are on the fence about pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we talked about all of some of the barriers and some of
Yeah.
the challenges. It's not perfect over here,
No.
but there's such a high potential for your quality of life shooting up, your happiness,
Yeah.
doing things that you haven't done for years,
Yeah.
feeling younger, feeling good.
Absolutely.
We're simple, like I said, to have a nice, caring girlfriend alone, and
Yeah.
if you can find that quality home base
Yeah.
with a good, caring partner
Yeah.
and a few friends and low cost of living,
Yeah.
guys, it's freaking great, despite some of the drawbacks, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
life is good, man,
Yeah.
if you kind of go down that path with a good mindset. Thanks, man. There was like a second ending.
Very good.
That's a splice in right there that we forgot to talk about.
Very good.